Tattler Lids Pantry, and today I'm canning again. So I'm going to can today in 1.5 pint jars. The timing is going to be like a quart jar. And I'm just going to tell you, I absolutely love the pozole that I canned up. And so it's basically the same thing. You guys probably watched that whole process. But the difference is today, this pork roast, I'm going to raw pack it because it is going for such a long period of time. And you know it'll be fully cooked and fork tender. But my favorite thing to do with this, I had pozole for lunch one day last week. And I just put fresh veggies on top. I didn't really do all traditional. But it was delicious. And then I had a notion to do it over rice, and I cooked the pozole right in with the rice and flavored the rice. Oh my gosh, it's my favorite way to have it. And so now I'll have it, and right now I've got my enchilada sauce is cooking down on the stove. I'm going to get ready to puree it and strain it. I'll get the meat in my jars and we'll get to canning. It's super simple. I'm taking the easy route because it's going to be a record heat day. So I'm going to take the easy way out. How's that? Okay, I'll bring you in close when I start loading up the jars. And you know, I have a video on my enchilada sauce. And if you watch the pozole recipe, you saw how I did that. It varies a little bit from time to time. This one, I've got a whole lot more onion in it and a whole lot more garlic because I love that flavor. And I used a couple of really hot peppers in there. I only used 2, but 2's plenty because I wanted it a little bit spicier. All right, guys, come on in and let's do some canning. Want to? Okay, guys, I'm going to start loading my jars while my sauce is heating back up. So I let it cool down a little bit. You know, I simmered it for about 20 minutes and then pureed it up with the hand immersion blender. I'll try to leave a link to one of those down below, but I got that all wazzed up, and then I strained it through a fine mesh sieve into this 6-quart pot, and it's almost full. So we're gonna have some extra enchilada sauce, I guarantee it. And that's okay with me. I might make another batch and can it up for you this week, because that's what I do. So I've got this meat all cut up and just in, you know, cubes, like you would for stew, like a pork stew, because that's really what this is. And this is just one of these meal starters that I think, because it's going to have a little bit more sauce to it, because I'm going to do the jars about 80% full. Okay, if I have enough meat, we'll do something else. We'll add to it. How's that sound? So I'm just going to very simply with my one glove, so it's easy cleanup for me. Yeah. And the meat's come up to almost room temperature. It's still a little bit chilled. The broth is going to heat that right up. So I really want to bring that up to a simmer. And then that way we're not going in with cold jars and all that good stuff. And we've got 8 1.5 pint jars to fill. We may not make it. I don't know. I'm hoping we make it. Might have to improvise and go to plan B. Because I've got some in this other bag too. So, all right, let's put this over here. I want plenty of broth, so when I make the rice with this, oh my goodness, you guys will have to, I'll have to make the rice for you. It's super easy, and it is absolutely, can't keep from eating all of it. Delicious. Okay. There's that. Another piece over there. That's how easy this is. Okay, let me get these other jars filled. I'll let you know how much I've got, and we'll get this canning. Okay, so I've got 7 jars filled to how I want them. I've got 8 jars here, so guess what? I washed my hands, and I'm gonna do chicken. chicken legs, bone in, and I'm gonna do it for the same amount of time, even though they don't take as long, but I'm gonna put 3 little legs down here, and that'll be perfect. I'll fill it with enchilada sauce, and I've got chicken enchilada. I've got the makings for chicken enchilada, I should say. And we'll try that out. If that's a favorite, hey, we're gonna go even further with this whole recipe idea. Okay, let me grab my, oh, that's hot. Okay, easy cleanup, right? Oh yeah, and this smells so good. It's full of flavor. So I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer so you get the visual. And I'm going to grab a paper towel with some vinegar, and we're going to get to jarring these up. All right, so let's add our enchilada sauce. I don't want to stain my mat, so I'm going to add some paper toweling down in between the jars there. I've got my vinegar-soaked paper towel here, but I want to make sure any splatter, because I'm anticipating splatter or dripping. Okay, and enchilada sauce can stain. Maybe I'll move these over. Whoopsie, there it goes. Okay, right down on the chicken, and we want 1 inch of headspace. And normally you could raw pack chicken without sauce or broth or anything. Go ahead and get your debubble tool out. But I want this enchilada sauce in here. And it's just like the ball recipes that are in the latest ball canning book, the meal starters and meals in a jar. They raw packed the chicken or the meat, and then they made the meals. Perfect. Little more sauce. Debubbling always takes your headspace down just a little bit. You don't want to overdo your headspace. You want to keep it at 1 inch, or you can mess up your jar. And it's important that you have that headspace. This is also going to create a little bit of its own juice. And I'm going to do an experiment today. I've got Tattler lids. I've already marked that this is the second use on these 2 gaskets. I'm going to do 2 Tattlers, and this is an experiment. I'm going to see if I have to soak these or not, or if, because I'm pressure canning, if I can get away with not soaking them. So, just like the button top lids. So we're going to try that out. So get your lid on there, finger tight, and back off, finger tight, back off 1/4 inch. And that's a beautiful jar of chicken enchilada. Enchilada chicken. And off to the canner to wait for the rest of the jars. So let's get these filled up. Same procedure. We're going to get the broth and the enchilada sauce down in the jar. And debubble, debubble, debubble. You can't do that enough in this particular. And like I said, I wanted enough room for it to be saucy. And you can see, I think you can see, I haven't got this meat packed in there tightly. It's packed in there, so I can have plenty of sauce. And that's a perfect headspace. So there you go. And we'll put that second Tattler. I'm just doing 2 Tattlers today. And the rest are button top lids that I just had laying around. And back off, and in the canner it goes. And I do like a once around inspection. If I saw a big air pocket or something somewhere, I would go, oh, take that lid back off and get this done. All right, in the canner to wait for the rest. All right. So have you guys tried doing this before? Have you tried the enchilada sauce over the pork? I'm going to tell you, it is absolutely I think it's my favorite. I love spicy, even though it's not hot at all. It's got a little tiny kick in the background. My goal isn't to make it hot. My goal is to make it flavored. and already pre-seasoned, just in case I didn't have a bunch of seasonings available to me. Now that jar is too full. So we're going to take some of that sauce out and pop it right over in this jar. And maybe even a piece of that meat. There we go. I think that's right about right. Okay. I can actually put a little drop more of the enchilada. Okay. Now, button top lids. Same thing, only you don't have to back off 1/4 of an inch. So you're gonna put your lid on, fingertip tight, that's it. And make sure we don't have any air pockets. Good to go. I will tell you, I've got my canner sitting at about 180 degrees. It is ready and waiting for the jars. I don't like to have it too hot. There's a big air bubble down there. Because then the jars do get shocked, even though these are hot to the touch now. You want the food, you know, kind of the same temperature as the canner. Oh, a little bit. Okay. And wipe the rim and... Okay, so tell me in the comments section if you've done this and what you use this chicken, or not chicken, but pork pasole or pork and enchilada sauce. What would you use it for? You can make tacos with this, use the meat for burritos, and certainly do enchiladas at any point now, because your profile's already there. And I not only debubble around the edges, I'm debubbling into the center just to make sure that there's no air pockets. There you go. Oh, perfect. 1 inch. 1 inch of headspace. And then, has anybody got any troubles getting rings and lids? I've got to set up my next live, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that again. So if you're not familiar with that, I do a live twice a month, a live chat on here with my members only. And we talk about all that stuff, the prices of everything, whether it's going up, if they're seeing differences in their area, have they found lids and where. And so we're sharing all that information with each other. It's just a great smaller community that I really feel like I can connect with my viewers in that arena, and I love it. So if you're interested, of course, that join button is there below. So I'll be doing one coming up this coming Friday. And perfect, 1 inch of headspace done. And get this in here. I'm interested to see if the consistency of the meat is a little bit different now that I'm raw packing it opposed to cooking it completely. Because when I canned it previously, I cooked the meat completely before I canned it. And so it really is shreddable. Which it will be anyway, but yeah, it was really, really good. All right. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, and I'm not using necessarily an approved recipe, but everything I'm putting in the jars is approved to can and for the appropriate amount of time. So because they're 1.5 pint jars, there isn't a timing for that size jar out there. So we're going to bump it up to the next size, which is a 1 quart. And so these are going to be in the canner for 90 minutes once they come up to pressure. All right, we'll be back. Okay, so I'm over at the canner. My canner's full. I've got the 8 1.5 pint jars in there. And we're going to put our lid on. We're just going to line up the arrows. They kind of lock down underneath the ledge. There we go. Lock down. And then you're going to go ahead and fasten this down from across each other. And then once this comes up to, I put it on about a medium to medium high, let it come up slowly. But once it comes up and the canner is starting to rock and roll, we're gonna let it vent. It's gonna just shoot steam out of that petcock like a freight train, and we're gonna let it just steam for a full 10 minutes. And that's part of the timing, so you have to do all the steps. It's actually part of the complete timing, because the meat has to reach a certain amount of, or a certain temperature for a certain amount of time for it to be safe. So that's the reason. Okay, once that steady stream of steam has hit 10 minutes, we're gonna put the weight on, and for my area, it's 10 pounds. You can look that up or Google your elevation, and that will tell you what weight you should have it on. If you're over like 2,000 feet, you need a 15-pound weight. So when I was in Nevada, I needed 15 pounds. Down here, I'm 242 feet above sea level. I only need a 10-pound weight. All right, guys, we'll be back when I'm pulling them out of the canner. So as soon as this vents, I'll put the weight on. When it starts dancing, I'll start timing, and it's 90 minutes, 11 pounds on the dial, and 10-pound weight. All right. Okay, guys, so I had 4.5 pints of enchilada sauce left. So guess what? I got the other canner out, and we're going to can it up. It cans for 50 minutes for pint jars, but this little jar is going to go. I didn't want to throw any of this away. It's a little bit of work, and that would be a waste. And I don't have refrigerator space, so, and nothing planned to use that much enchilada sauce. So guess what? I get some more enchilada sauce on my shelf. All right. We're going to can it up. It's a bonus canning. Some of you are going to ask, how are you doing the pint jar without it being totally submerged in water? And let me just tell you, they can be submerged. They aren't sucking in water. They'll expel, but they aren't sucking it in. Okay, so I need one more. I'm stacking, hold on. I'm stacking it. I need one more. I'll be right back. I'm stacking a Tattler lid on top of a ring. So I've got a Tattler lid on top of a ring and another Tattler right there. The water's a little bit warm. Waiting for my jars. And then that will bring it up to just about the same level. So we're good to go. And I've got a jar of water right there. I might be able to fit one. Yeah, I can fit one more. So let's get another jar of water. And I don't put the lids on if I don't need to, waste. I don't want to waste a lid. Usually I would do water with a Tattler lid, but today I'm just going to do it this way. All right. Okay, getting the canners regulated. I just started my timing on both of them. And this is how I keep track. So they come up pretty close together. It's kind of crazy, but because that had a head start. So that one will be done, and I write the time down when that one is done after 50 minutes and the hour and a half on that one. So I know what time, even though I have a timer on my phone, just in case that fails for some reason, I'm good to go. But yeah, so yeah, they're both kind of gently going. This big one, I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. But we're at 11 pounds on the dial. And if it's jiggling, it's releasing pressure. And now this one's just above 11, but it's really giving a pretty mild rock. So we'll get these regulated down. I don't turn them down too far because I don't want to have to start over. There's my tip. Timing. Okay, guys. Canner 1 is ready to take out. So, and I have absolutely no siphoning. I'm super excited. I'll show you in just a second. The enchilada sauce. Okay. So I have a jar 1. And I let my canners come down really calmly. And I don't rush anything. So I let it come down, and then I take the lid. Once I take the weight off, look how beautiful that is. Then I go ahead and let it sit there for another 10-15 minutes. So they kind of acclimate to the outside air. You know, I've got the air conditioning on today, and so I'm going to make sure we got good. Ooh, that's hot. Oh, that's even hotter. Okay. I want to leave room for everybody. And the jars. Oh, my little makeshift thing moved over, but I'll show you. Look. Clear water, no siphoning, and that is amazing. And then I've got my 2 jars of water. You don't have to put lids on them. If you don't want sterile water in your storage, don't worry about it. So now I will wait. The other canner, it still has a little bit of time. I've taken the weight off, but it still has some time before I take, I want to let it sit for at least 10 minutes. Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to set the lid cockeyed because I don't want any siphoning out of those jars. I want all that enchilada sauce right where I put it. Ah, that's hot. Okay. Hey guys, it is time to get the other canner undone. I did the same thing with that. You'll have to excuse my test recipe. Oh my goodness. So this is a sweet onion barbecue sauce. So good. So sweet and spicy and tons of onion flavor. And I'm just going to show you. I don't know if you can see it, but these, and this has been, 15-20 minutes later. I don't know if you can see it. They're still bubbling and boiling in the jar. Even though I can touch the jar, there's still some action going on in there. No siphoning whatsoever. Now on this canner load, and I'm going to take the 2 Tattlers out first because yes, I have to tighten them down. And they look beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, I really want a paper towel. Just because we have, I think we have a little tiny bit of siphoning, but I want to wipe that off. So you can't really see anything on the paper towel, but let's get something. I'm going to get more used. Okay, so when you bring a Tattler, the old Tattlers out of the canner, crank it down. It will ensure your seal. But look how gorgeous this pork is. Oh wait, this might be the chicken. I'll have to see. I think it's the chicken, but yeah, we'll see. Let's take the other Tattler out and we'll, because I know one of the Tattlers was chicken. Yep, that's the chicken. This is the pork. All right, so there we go. Let's get that. And don't tip your jars because everything is expanded and still can come up under that lid. So you don't want that to happen, but can you see? Bubbling and sizzling in there. Yeah, it's got a ways to go. Now the rest of the jars I can just pull out. So I've got beautiful pork in a delicious enchilada sauce, ready whenever I am for a quick meal. In fact, in the microwave, I have, oh yeah, those lids loosen right up. I have a batch of rice done with that, and so you can see not much in the canner as far as a little bit of cloudiness. That's it. Otherwise, you'd see red sauce all over that. And then somebody asked me, why do these oxidize on the top? I have no idea. I put a tablespoon or 2, no more than that, of vinegar in the water, but they're just making our lids so inexpensively that I think that's just the nature of the beast. So 1.5 pint jars of this beautiful pork and enchilada sauce, raw packed, easy peasy, and enchilada sauce to boot. So it was a double duty canning day, and I'm super excited. I appreciate all of you coming along for this. It's been a hot one. It got up to 107 outside. Thankfully, my heat pump keeps it nice and cool in here, and I've got all the windows shut down. But this barbecue sauce will be the next thing going in the canner. So if you want to see that, leave me a comment in the comment section. I wanted to make sure I did a test recipe before I put it up for you, and oh my goodness, it is so good. It's probably the closest I've come to maybe a Sweet Baby Ray's. I do like a little kick in the background on my barbecue sauce, but yeah, delicious. All right. We'll see you next time for another delicious recipe and or a canning session. And guys, are you excited? Let's get some food on our shelves. We are expecting some serious food shortages. Let's get this stuff canned up. Come on.